Hollywood seems to be used to storms of rumors, but last week, a sudden media storm swept through sweeping Caitriona Balfe, the star of Outlander, into the spotlight. Within hours, a series of major newspapers, entertainment news sites, and social networks simultaneously launched dramatic headlines: "Arrogant and controlling Sam Hogan." Former co-star accuses Caitriona of being two-faced, the most difficult woman to work with in Hollywood. The whole social network exploded. Mixed comments appeared densely. Some sides defended, others were angry. And then, as if adding fuel to the fire, an anonymous article was released listing a series of accusations of unknown origin, from star attitude to forcing scripts to be edited according to her wishes, or too powerful in her relationship with Sam Hogan. Is it true? Or is it just a sophisticated media setup? Just hours after the sensational headlines flooded social media, a wave of controversy spread to every corner of the Outlander fan community. Many were shocked, many were angry, but there were also many loyal fans who spoke up to defend the actress. Meanwhile, some of Caitriona's insiders and close friends immediately responded. A producer who worked with her in Europe shared with Variety, "Caitriona is one of the most dedicated and professional people I have ever worked with. She listens, works hard, and has never used her fame to bully anyone." Sophie Skelton, who plays Caitriona's daughter in Outlander, also couldn't hide her anger, writing on Twitter, "I have worked with Kate for many years. She is a wonderful sister, a passionate actress, and a very emotional person. This is all being blown out of proportion." But why did the wave of attacks erupt at this time? Some media experts believe that the cause may stem from Caitriona's public relationship and engagement announcement with Sam Hogan. The Guardian quotes journalist Leanne Matthews, "When idols make choices that don't fit the fans' fantasy scenario, backlash is inevitable." Not only that, since becoming an executive producer for the final season of Outlander, Caitriona has increasingly had a say in the production and creative process. For many, that is a sign of progress, but for others, this power makes them feel insecure. And then, after many days of silence on the evening of August 5th, Caitriona suddenly spoke up. Not with a lengthy interview, but with a black and white photo posted on Instagram. She was sitting reading a book by the window, the dim light shining on her pensive face. The caption was short, but as sharp as a knife. "People can say anything about you, but you don't have to let it touch your heart. I choose to be silent, not because I'm weak, but because I believe the truth will speak for itself." The photo quickly received hundreds of thousands of likes, thousands of supportive comments from fans, colleagues, and former colleagues. Sam Hogan, co-star and fiancé, immediately shared the photo with a red heart icon and the message, "Strength doesn't need to scream. You are the bravest woman I have ever known." In a short interview with BBC Radio Scotland, Sam also affirmed, "Caitriona is the soul of Outlander. She is not only a great actress, but also the moral support of the whole crew for many years. It's sad that baseless rumors can hurt such a good person." The hashtag #WeStandWithKate began to appear, spreading rapidly on Twitter and Instagram. Some news sites had to retract articles due to lack of evidence, even facing a wave of fierce opposition from readers. The media storm will pass, but the scars left in the artist's heart are difficult to heal. Caitriona knows this well. She once said, "The only thing I can control is how I live and work. The rest, let the truth take care of it." 3 days after the quiet Instagram photo caused a storm, Caitriona made a surprise appearance on BBC One's Evening Spotlight. It was her first public appearance in full about the wave of criticism. The host, veteran journalist Helena Craig, known for her straightforward, uncompromising interviewing style, opened with a question that cut straight to the heart of the storm. "Caitriona, how does it feel to be called difficult, arrogant, even controlling the set?" In a simple white shirt, her hair tied back, Caitriona raised her head, her eyes calm. "It hurts, but I'm not surprised. As a woman, when you express your opinion, they call you difficult. When you stand up for what you believe in, they call you arrogant. And when you succeed, have a voice, they call you controlling." The whole studio fell silent. Helena nodded, as if acknowledging her guest's courage in front of the camera. Caitriona continued, her voice slow but full of weight. I'm not perfect and I don't need to be perfect. I used to be a model. I used to live in a world where appearance was more important than who I was. I've come out of that, and I don't want to go back to feeling like I have to please everyone. I'm not perfect, but I always try to be kind and do my work with all my heart. Helena quickly moved on to the hot topic, her relationship with Sam Hougen. Do you think the public engagement to Sam Hougen sparked a negative reaction from some fans? Caitriona hesitated, then replied softly, I think everyone has the right to be disappointed if their imagination doesn't come true. But that shouldn't translate into hurting other people. Sam and I are real people, living real lives, loving real lives, not characters in a story created by others. No one saw what I went through behind the scenes. And then Helena posed another difficult question, one that has been at the heart of recent accusations. There are reports that you controlled the script, forcing changes to benefit yourself and your team. How do you respond? Caitriona's voice became firm. I am the executive producer. It is my responsibility to make sure the story is told correctly and truthfully, especially with the character of Claire, who has inspired millions of people. I give my opinion, but I never impose it. If I am sometimes tough, it is because I am fighting for what I believe is right. She paused, her eyes sparkling. No one saw me crying behind the scenes while doing painful scenes. No one saw me learning every medical line in Latin. And no one saw me standing up for young actors when they were asked to do sex scenes without their consent. The studio fell silent for a moment before a round of applause erupted. Before the show ended, Helena suddenly asked, if you could say one thing to your critics right now, Caitriona, what would you say? She took a deep breath. I understand you may be hurt or disappointed, but I am not your enemy. I am a human being, and I want to be treated as one. After the broadcast, the hashtag #RespectCaitriona exploded, flooding social media. Major newspapers such as The Times, Deadline, LUK all reprinted these powerful statements, calling it one of the most candid and courageous interviews of the year. In the midst of the media storm, Caitriona Balfe chose to step into the light, not to argue, but to light a candle of truth, of kindness, and of courage. But the story doesn't end there. Just hours after the broadcast, short clips from the show began to spread at breakneck speed on TikTok, Instagram, Reels, and Twitter. Fans everywhere edited Caitriona's precious quotes, placing them next to the image of the strong character Claire Fraser in Outlander. The harmony between the role and the real person made many people choke up. This is not just acting. This is who she is. Some longtime colleagues also spoke out. Actor Richard Rankin wrote on X, I worked with Caitriona for over 7 years. She is not only a great actress, but also someone who always fights for what is right, both on and off screen. Meanwhile, Outlander's largest fan page in the US suddenly posted an old behind-the-scenes photo with the caption, when the whole world tries to pull you down. Remember that there are still many people willing to lift you up. But like any media storm, there were also waves of conflicting reactions. Some anonymous accounts continued to release unverified insider information, trying to maintain skepticism. But this time, the wave of Caitriona's defense was overwhelming. The hashtag #RespectCaitriona climbed straight to the top of the global trending list, surpassing even Hollywood's hottest topics. In a commentary for The Guardian, television critic Rebecca Hall wrote, Caitriona Balfe did something rare in the entertainment world. She turned an interview into a statement. She made no apologies for being herself, and that made many people feel empowered. For Caitriona, the following days were not a series of noisy victories, but a precious silence. She returned to the studio, continued working, and declined all talk show invitations so as not to turn this story into a joke. She has always believed that the strongest response is to do her job well. A source close to her revealed. And then one Monday morning, Caitriona quietly posted a photo of a sunrise in Scotland on Instagram with just 3 words: truth, kindness, courage. Those 3 words, which were supposed to end the interview, have now become a slogan printed on shirts, hats, and even the phone wallpapers of thousands of fans. The media storm eventually subsided, but the image of the woman who emerged from the storm standing firm amid millions of eyes still remained, not as an aloof Hollywood star, but as a real person, daring to speak, daring to live, and daring to shine. The stage lights fade to darkness, and the sound of wind blowing through the empty streets. In the silence, Caitriona's voice rings out, deep, clear, and unwavering. I can't control what people say about me, but I can control how I live. And I choose to live by the truth. The screen cuts to behind-the-scenes footage. Caitriona puts on a Claire Fraser trench coat, adjusts her hair in front of a mirror, and smiles softly as the director shouts, "Action." No more sensational headlines, no more invisible accusations, just a woman doing what she loves with determination in her eyes. The music swells and images alternate, her hugging her co-star after a difficult scene, handing her coat to a crew member on a cold, rainy day, and laughing with Sam Juan on the Scottish grass. All of this seemed to remind the audience that behind all the rumors, all the storms, there is still a human being of flesh and blood who knows how to love, how to hurt, and how to stand up. Finally, the screen stopped at the sunrise photo on Instagram. 3 words appeared clearly, like a message not only for herself, but for everyone who has ever been misunderstood, ever attacked, ever forced to be silent. Truth, kindness, courage. And then the screen went completely black. There was only a deep breath left, as if the viewer had just gone through a storm. But a storm to find the light.